traveling with the wrong person, the wrong crowd, he's guilty. Being with people going certain trips, he's guilty. But so far as the picture that they try to paint him for, he's not guilty, and he don't deserve to be punished as if he's some dope kingpin. The sentencing that they gave him was as if he was a dope kingpin. This guy didn't even have a brand new car.
very other paraphernalia that indicated distribution. We felt comfortable in bringing that to trial. The idea that you can grow marijuana, that you can distribute marijuana, that you can possess marijuana in the presence of a minor, that is not something that we will accept in Tulsa County.
Will Foster is serving his time in a Texas prison because there's no room in Oklahoma's overcrowded cells. Foster is appealing on grounds that the search warrant was invalid, and since he was charged under state rather than federal law, he does have the chance of parole. The state had offered Foster a plea bargain, but he refused.
The reason I went to jury trial was that it was the only way I could guarantee that my wife would not go to prison. She was her own ways. And testify against me.
I didn't want to have to do that. I really didn't. That it was bad, or I was going to go to prison and I didn't know who it was. Kids. And he said, you have to make a choice. So I testified for the state, and I testified for the defense, and it was the longest 4 days I've ever had. And I knew that he'd get something and he would go from home. So he made some time 3 years.
The wives of marijuana growers are often put under pressure to testify against their husbands or risk prison terms themselves. Jody Israel refused to take the stand against her husband and is now serving a 12-year federal mandatory minimum sentence.
You know, somewhere it's got to stop. If I was to testify against someone and bring down 10 people, you know, it's got to stop somewhere.
Her husband, the first-time offender, was convicted of growing marijuana. He is a Rastafarian and claimed to use marijuana for religious reasons. Because she presumably knew what he was doing, Jody Israel was charged with conspiracy.
The problem with conspiracy is it's the only time they're allowed hearsay into the courtroom, so they can't excuse you for anything else. They can't give you for conspiracy. Your husband could go away on a business trip for the weekend and come back home, and he could have been out, you know, buying drugs.